All right, so I'm here at the race start of Race Across America and Race Across the West. So, tell me about Race Across the West. What's the stats this year?
All right, so we're going from here to
Yep.
Durango, Colorado,
Yep.
about 850-ish miles.
Okay.
I got about 16 solo racers.
Okay.
One 4-person team, two-person teams racing. They got to be there by Friday.
Friday. All right, so today is Tuesday for those that, well, because I didn't say that in the intro. Tuesday, June 10th. And they've got until Friday.
Yep.
How many hours would that be? I don't want to do the math right now.
I can't. I think it's 72, but don't hold me to it.
Well, 72, I was in the Marine Corps,
Yeah.
so that's 3 days. I remember taking. Hang
It's
on.
ballpark.
Yeah. All right, so, and what about the elevation gain? How much elevation gain would you say that race has?
I think it's about, I want to say it's about 40,000 feet. Could be a little more.
Could be a little
Yep.
more. Yeah, so that's about, what, 40% of all the climbing for the big event, right? For the big show.
Yeah, it's about 35%. Yeah.
Okay, all right, so now let's talk about the big show, and that's Race Across America. Where does it finish this year?
Atlantic City, New Jersey.
Hey,
right
that's
on
where
the
I finished.
right on the boardwalk.
Yep.
In the exact same place you finished.
Okay,
Yep.
all right.
And it looks different. They've kind of built it out a little bit, but pretty similar.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right. Yeah, Danny Chu interviewed me, and I can't remember who else was there, but Danny.
Yep.
Unfortunately. Okay, so what is the time limit for Race Across America?
Okay, so we got 3,065 miles.
Yes, sir.
12 days for the solo men,
Okay, 12 days.
and 12 days, 21 hours for the solo women.
Okay. So no age group separation, or
Not till you get to over 70 men, and then they have 12 days, 21 hours, I think, as well.
Okay. And do you have any 70-plus racers this year?
We had 2 that started this morning at 5 a.m.
No way.
Yep.
Oh, so they didn't get all the
It's-
ceremony and everything?
They don't, because it's the only way we can get extra hours for them is to start them early, because we have to be off the boardwalk by a certain time.
Permits.
Yep, permits.
San Diego County is notorious for getting difficult for getting permits.
You know
is that
what?
right?
I've worked with them for 20 years, and they have their systems, but they're pretty good to work with.
All right.
In all fairness, they are pretty good to work
Okay.
with.
All right. Now, I did want to talk to you about the Furnace Creek 508, which became the Silver State 508. What's it going to be called now, sir?
I think we're just going to leave it the 508 for right now, because we moved it.
Just the 508.
Yep, because we brought it obviously back from Reno, back
Yep.
to Southern California.
Yep.
We're basing it out of Borrego Springs.
Yes.
Kind of tweak the route format a little bit.
Okay.
It's similar to an event we use in Texas where it has 4 loops
Yep.
that come back to the start finish.
Yeah, we call that a clover leaf.
Yeah,
but,
clover leaf loop.
Yeah.
And so, if you've done the Hemet double where they do kind of a bow tie.
Yes, they do.
This is just kind of a double bow tie.
Okay.
And it allows some of the unsupported
So does that
racers.
does that infer 4 loops?
Yeah, so there's
Okay.
4, there are 4 kind of a clover leaf shaped-ish thing.
Kinda.
And the loops get smaller as you go. So the first loop
Yeah.
is the longest. And what it allows is, if you're an unsupported racer, a little bit more of an option to get back to your hotel, clean up, feed
Yeah.
yourself, restock, so you're not so dependent on just yourself out in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
And as you know, the desert, it's hot, it's lonely,
Windy.
and so having somewhere you can kind of get back to helps everybody out.
Now, give me some stats. Still 508 miles.
Exactly 508 miles.
Exactly.
As close, I think it's like
Until you get lost.
Well, yeah, that's your problem. I
Right.
think it's like 507.9, but it might actually be 508.
All right.
I mean, it's damn close.
And elevation gain, because San Diego is a very hilly and mountainous area.
Oh yeah, because we take you up in the hills. Like you're up,
Yeah.
the glass elevator area
Yep,
around there.
yep.
Honestly, I cannot remember the
That's
elevation
okay.
on it.
I'm sure it's going to be over 30 to make it legitimate.
Oh yeah.
500 mile.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, San Diego is full of lots of rolling terrain. As you keep moving from the coast inland, then you get into the bigger mountains, 6,000 foot mountains, like let's say Mount Laguna, which you're not going to hit, but you're going to be down in Borrego Springs, which
Yep.
can be, what time of year?
Late September, so it'll be hot.
Late
Can be hot, yeah.
Late September can be really hot. You never know what you're going to get in the desert. If you ever say that you raced in the desert, oh, it was so hot. Oh, it was so windy. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the desert.
And the other thing that people quite often don't understand, in night, it can be quite cool.
Correct.
It's like deceptively cool.
Yeah.
So if you're doing any desert event, not just ours,
Yeah.
and you're going overnight, don't just think it's going to be 100 degrees all the time, because it may not be.
It may not be. In fact, you hold a time trial there as well.
Yep.
That's November, is it?
So I think it's October 31 to November 2. It's whatever that weekend that fits right there is.
Generally the last weekend of
October, first weekend of November. So.
Okay. And tell me about the temperature extremes in November, or winds, or what have you had as far as...
You name it, we've had it. And
Yeah.
we've had, like this past year, we actually had to stop the race a couple hours early.
Yeah.
Because the wind, so we've been there, I think 12 years now.
Okay.
The wind was so bad that it was blowing sand that riders just couldn't see.
Yeah, yeah.
And we made a decision for rider safety, just to pull them off the course, because it wasn't worth riding through it to harm someone. It's just a bicycle race.
It's just a bicycle race.
But we've had very cool years. We've had very hot
hang on
years.
Just a second.
Yeah.
Hang on. Giovanni!
Good morning.
Ciao! Buongiorno. I'm going to come see you, but let me spend some time with this gentleman.
Of course,
I will
of
definitely come
course.
see you.
Would be my admiration.
But, so we've had everything, and in that time of year it's kind of weird because you're transitioning to the winter time, but you still get some summer temps.
Yeah.
Not quite summer temps, but we've had years where it's mid to upper 90s, and we've had years where it's actually quite cool.
Yeah.
And the nighttime is the really tricky part. Most people are okay with the daytime temps; they can figure that out. But we've had years where the nighttime temps have dropped into the low 40s.
Yeah.
And if you're not prepared for that,
Or if you think, I'm going to San Diego to ride my bike.
Exactly. It's Southern California. It's always warm.
It's always warm.
Not really.
No, not really. It can be cool at night.
Yeah.
And what most people may not realize, there's no buildings, there are no trees.
Nothing.
There's nothing to slow down. Once that wind gets going, 40, 50, 60 mile an hour gusts is
It can happen.
It can happen, yeah.
And, in most years, wind's pretty moderate, temperatures are pretty moderate. That's why we have it that time of year.
Yeah.
But like anywhere, it can swing. It's the weather. You get a crazy front that blows through. Like I've been here since Thursday and I've hardly seen the sun, which is really rare.
Well, this is June gloom.
It
as
is
you
June
know.
gloom,
It
yep.
is June gloom. And that's a weather phenomena that happens here in Southern California. It's basically May gray, June gloom, and that usually means you get this kind of weather, and then eventually it burns off. But, for anyone traveling and vacationing, come in July and August. It's a lot.
It's always sunny.
It's always sunny and not that hot in July and August until you go inland. Let me ask you about the RAAM qualifiers. How many do you have? And let's actually talk about that the Borrego Springs time trial. What do you need to qualify when you do a RAAM qualifier? Let's use that one as an example, and then in the others.
Sure. So to race in Borrego Springs World Time Trial Championships, you don't need to qualify. You can just register to race that. But if you want to qualify for RAAM, you have to race the 24-hour race.
Yes.
And you have to complete 400 miles in 24 hours.
400 miles, 24 hours.
Yep.
Is that difficult? Do you have a good, I wouldn't say completion rate, do you have a good accomplishment rate?
It's a difficult feat, and it should be,
Yes, yes.
I personally, even though we sanction 24-hour qualifiers, I don't think they're the best way to qualify.
Okay.
I recommend doing them because it's good to go out and ride the 24 hours.
Yeah.
I think the issue is
Is it all right turns?
It is all right turns.
All right turns.
We're
and
like
no
NASCAR.
Stop signs. Yeah, no stop signs, no stop lights.
It's pretty straightforward.
Yes, yes.
The thing that makes 24-hour racing not the best way to qualify is, you don't have a support crew following you. And that relationship is a very important relationship.
Yep.
So it is a way to qualify. I still think doing something like the 508, the Hoodoo, any number of those races are better ways to qualify because you get to practice with your crew.
Yeah.
As far as the number of RAAM qualifiers, I think there are now worldwide 54 of them in 17 different countries.
That's awesome.
So
that's
there's a lot.
I still want to talk about RAAM qualifiers,
yeah,
but I like where you're going with
Yeah.
this, because I want to know about the demographics of today's launch.
Sure.
All right, so how many other RAAM qualifiers do you do?
So we put on the 508 in Borrego
Yes.
Springs,
Yes.
the Time Trial Championships in Borrego Springs,
Yes.
and we also have an event in Texas called Texas Hell Week,
Okay.
which is 7 days of recreational, kind of unsupported riding. We have happy hours, everyone gets to hang out. At the end of the second weekend, we have a 200-mile race and a 500-mile race. And the 500-mile race, the Longhorn 500, is a RAAM qualifier.
Okay. What time of year is that? So
That is
people can
late March.
Late March. So
Yep.
if you're in Texas and you're trying to get prepared.
Hill country, beautiful riding.
Hill country, beautiful riding. All right. Now, what other RAAM qualifiers do you accept that are not run by your organization?
A lot of them. I can't list them all. They're on the website.
Okay.
RAAMrace.org. You can go to qualifying and see. In the United States, boy, we have Hoodoo 500.
Yep.
NCOM is back down in Texas. There's Mid-Atlantic.
No country for old men.
Yeah, he doesn't call it that because he doesn't want to get in trouble for it.
I know, because of the movie.
Yep.
Yep.
There's Sebring in Florida.
Sebring, yes.
We just added one new one in Ohio. It's a 24-hour race.
Okay.
Race across Oregon is still around.
Okay.
So there's quite a few.
George Thomas's
kind of
race.
spread out. Yep.
Yeah. I wanted to cover these because if you're in other parts of the country, you don't have to think about, oh, I got to travel all the way to San Diego and all that. Now, let's talk about the demographics of who's launching out today. How many countries are represented? What do you got going on?
So I believe there are 17 countries racing this year.
Nice.
We have actually 2 Native Americans racing.
Nice.
So they race through the Navajo Reservation. One of them is 100% Navajo and the other is half Navajo. So that's kind of cool that they get to race through their homeland.
Yes.
So pretty cool, people from all over the world. I mean, Australia, New Zealand, India, our first Estonian racer, our first Malaysian racer.
Yeah.
So we got it all covered.
Very, very nice. And who are some of the notable people that you're watching this year? You know, for years it was like a Yuri Robic, or it was Christoph Strasser. Is there anyone? I apologize that I've not been not been following it as closely as I used to. But who are some of these notables now?
So there's some really talented racers. You know, there's always a new group, right?
Sure.
And Christoph is still a very young gentleman and
Yeah.
still incredibly strong. He's been racing mostly at home in Austria.
Yeah.
There's a young man from Austria, Lucas Kaufmann, who finished second last year.
Okay.
I would expect him to be way up front, off the front. Philipp Keiter from Germany. He's a rookie, but very talented.
Okay.
Fabio Silvestri, a Brazilian racer,
Okay.
exceptionally talented. And Issa Pulver, the woman from Switzerland.
Yes, I was going to ask you how many women are racing.
There are only 2 this year.
Okay.
Issa from Switzerland and Anita Lamek from Poland. And she's very strong, but she's a rookie. And as you can imagine, rookie years are always challenging.
Yeah, very.
Because you just don't know what you don't know.
Well, this is where the crew,
Yep.
the crew chief, that's, if you have a green crew and a green racer, kind of my experience in 2007, that's a recipe for underachieving. Let's just say underachieving.
Yeah, that's fair. It's very challenging because
It's an extremely challenging race.
you don't necessarily understand the dynamics between the two. Most of the bicycle racers know how to ride their bikes. They're fit, they're strong, they get all that part of it.
Yeah.
But when you're starting to get tired and you're more dependent on people to help you out, if you don't have a really good relationship and people who are really willing to work with you, that makes it very challenging.
Yeah. So we'll sit down for a longer podcast when time is available for you, because I also want to talk about like route creation and getting, I guess, local feedback from folks to be like, okay, yeah, I know that this road is going to be closed, or maybe there's a Caltrans announcement.
Yeah.
I heard about a mandatory shuttle this year. Can you tell me about that, please?
There is. So there is a shuttle outside of Sedona. I think it's about 20 miles.
Okay.
And the reason we shuttle it is it's kind of a narrow, winding road, which is really a beautiful road to ride. But it's also kind of busy with traffic, and we don't want it to become a safety issue.
And you don't want to impact.
Right. And we do. We have to play nice, and we want to play nice with every community we go through.
Yeah.
And as you said, permitting, there's a lot of people that you got to make happy along the way.
Yeah.
We sit down with, every year, at least a half dozen to go review the event. Some places are really good, like Kansas. They're very kind, and it's very easy to go through there.
Yeah.
But especially like California, Arizona, and Colorado, because of the mountain roads, it's tricky.
Yeah.
And we want to make sure we're happy, but we want to make sure they're happy, because we want to keep doing this.
Yeah. And speaking of keep doing this, what year is this? What anniversary is this?
I think this is 43.
43 years this race has been going. And that's amazing, that because so many other things, like even just the local century, the local charity century, they go belly up in a few years.
They do, and event production for anybody at any distance, it's not easy. It's a tough business to be in.
Yeah.
Unless you're the Ironman or rock and roll marathons of the world that are huge and have
funded
mass.
by China.
Yeah, they have access to
have
money and sponsors that most smaller events do, and so, we piece it together and we keep it rolling. It is our job. It is. This is what I do for a living.
Your primary income source.
Yep.
Yeah. Rick, thank you so much.
My pleasure.
Unfortunately, I'm filming with my right hand, but I'm shaking with the left. And if you're interested in a much longer podcast with Rick and Fred, both of these gentlemen have been in the RAAM race organization for so long that it's just incredible that this thing is still going. I wish you good luck in a successful event, and I wish all the racers good luck as well. Thank you so much for joining us. Please like and subscribe. We'll see you up the road.